Alright, alright. Alright. Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we are going to continue our little speed run. I know, speed run chopped into parts. How weird. That's why I said this isn't a speed run, and we're not going particularly fast. I just want to kind of breeze through this game because it's free content, and right now I don't know what my next clip compilation is gonna be, so I'm just kind of running right now. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to compile next, so this is just what we're doing. Fresh from the juice. Okay. So this is going to be probably from introduction of Mean Street to Mickeyjunk completion. So this will be from here up to the Mickeyjunk projectors, which is the 3 Oswald projectors at the top of Mickeyjunk Mountain before we meet Oswald. So here we go. Our first mission here is to talk to Pete, because he'll tell us to go see Gilda, because Gilda actually has the gear, so we're going to go run around and do her race. Also, we're not going to get the axe. Yes. Alright, so your dashes are your best friend here. This is where the remaster kind of comes in clutch, because you've got these ground dashes that you did not have before. You want to use these as best you can. That was a little bit sloppy. Normally I do the pound. Little bang. Jumping off that window there. But I didn't do it because I forgot. But it's fine. There's one gear. Now we're going to go talk to Horace. And he's going to be like, oh, you don't know me anymore? Oh, man. I guess you guys forgot about me. Yeah, but I did. But anyway. We don't remember you. It's because you're not important, okay? Alright. Gus will tell us to check our map because he's stupid. Wait, no, he tells us to check that during the race. Then we go over here. I'll be like, oh, he's got the book. No, he doesn't. Paulie has it. We gotta come over here and go over to Paulie's and get the book and come back. It's very simple. Mean Street does not take very long. And then on the way back, we're gonna come down this side street here and grab this key out of this manhole. This is the key to Casey's back room, and Casey will give us the power spark we need to turn on the projector machine to get to Oztown. Very simple. And a couple of short little quests, we are out of Mean Street and onto Oztown very quickly. We just have to go talk to Marcus, and then he'll tell us to go get power sparks. Here's a branch where if you want to, you can go talk to the usher if you've got your 100% save file, or you've gotten all the reels. Because you can just go ahead and get stuff from the usher, like health boosts and sketch capacity upgrades and things, but you don't want to get the final turn-in because it will give you max sketches up to like 57, I think. And you won't get them all if you don't unlock all the sketches first, so you want to do the final real turn-in after Lonesome Manor. Well, actually after the Shadow Blot. Because you can't interact with things between Lonesome Manor and the Shadow Blot. For some reason. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of a weird design choice, but they did. Also, you only have to go through the projector screens the first time you unlock them. After that, you are allowed to fast travel for 10 e-tickets, which is why you want to keep up on your money. Another reason. The other reason is mainly for power sparks. In case you get off pace and you miss a power spark somewhere, It is much faster to just go to the store in Mean Street for Casey and just buy one. It is 10 times faster. These projectors really just come down to pathing and being on the right cycle. There are, again, a couple of projectors that are pretty bad, but this one's not that bad. This one's pretty easy. This one's not that bad. Through the mirror is pretty simple. I think the worst ones, again, are probably in the jungle. I think I said that last time. But the worst projectors are probably the jungle projectors. I feel pretty confident in that. I think the jungle projectors are pretty bad. A couple of the Lonesome Manor ones are also pretty bad. But projectors aren't the biggest cut. Your biggest time losses are actually going to be slobbers, oddly enough. Which we'll get into that when we get to Tomorrow City in the next episode, I think. Yeah. Next episode will be Tomorrow City. So, for now, we're just gonna do... fuck, my brain. We're just gonna do Mickeyjunk and Oztown here. Oztown is where your first soft lock occurs if you're on the paint path. If you're on the paint path, normally, you can just paint in Moody's house over there. And then he'll give you the safe key to get Prescott down from there. But that's not exactly ideal. Well, that's for several reasons, but one of them being that, frankly, just simply put, it's just bullshit. But two, we do thinner path here because it's faster, but two, if you paint in the house beforehand, like before you talk to Moody, Moody will not give you the quest dialogue for whatever reason. We get your dialogue prompt here and then just thin it out anyway because we don't care about him. Watch him get squished. Bang! Yes, I know, I saw him there, but I need this gremlin, okay? Now we're going to talk to this guy, because he wants us to thin out the gag factory, and his quest does work. If you actually get all the colorful bits off the gag factory. Which I did not, because I'm a little bit silly. But I'm a little silly, I'm a little rusty, but there you go, that's a third power spark. Now we come up here, and we're going to bounce around these roofs for a little bit. Because over here, there's a power spark on my roof. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that's all the power sparks here. We're going to talk to the phone, and he's going to tell us to fill in the power boxes, but we're not going to do that because that takes too long. We're just going to let Prescott go in there and dismantle him. Thank you. That does fail the phone quest, but we don't care. So there we go. There's the bridge into Mickeyjunk. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Mickeyjunk is probably one of my favorite areas, actually. Not just like on gameplay. Obviously, the gameplay of Mickeyjunk is fairly simple. But I like the design of Mickeyjunk Mountain. I think Mickeyjunk Mountain has probably the coolest set pieces, honestly. And depending on how quickly I get through this, I may lump Tomorrowland in here. Because Tomorrowland isn't that long. And Tomorrowland also gets us our first boss. But I also kind of want to get more videos out of this series, if I can help it. So... This projector is also not very difficult. Just kind of go along the line, jump over the buildings, don't get stuck. Pretty simple. There you go. Nice and short. Simple. Easy stuff. Yeah, Mickeyjunk is a pretty short section. This shouldn't take very long, all things considered. This might take another 10 minutes, maybe. But, honestly, should be shorter than that. No. No, maybe 15 minutes. We'll see. It really depends on how you run it, because I think the paint path here is actually faster, but certain sections have a faster paint path, like the conveyor belt section. It's faster for paint path, I think. We're going to ignore that part. So we're going to paint this in, and we're going to use it, jump over here. We're just going to completely ignore the TVs. Normally you'd have to paint in 3 TVs to power on the crane, but instead we're going to go over here and free this gremlin, and he's going to do it for us. Because this game loves to use slave labor. This is a Disney game, after all. That's a dark joke, isn't it? Anyway, he's going to go fix that. We're going to be right out of here. Side note, this is really cool. I like the T-Rex crane, like the dinosaur crane. Looks pretty cool. It almost looks like a dinosaur. I like this crane has an odd amount of personality. Rawr. 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 Your biggest time loss here is going to be parkour mistakes, honestly. A lot of this game is knowing your movement, truthfully speaking. See like that right there? That's just a little slip up by me. Not sure why I went that way. See, that's what I mean. You should get a little bit ahead of yourself, you know? Forget where you're going. I get a little too comfortable with this game sometimes. I forget where I'm supposed to be going. What? Thank you. Jesus. Alright. Well, that's a small. It's the time loss. The time loss. Ugh, awful. There's 4 sections of Mickeyjunk. There's the crane. There's the piles, which is the conveyor section, and then there's... You can do this to just kind of ignore the ice physics there, which I think is pretty funny. It's probably not faster to do that, but I just think it's funny you can. This one's a lot of parkour, and knowing how good your jumps are. Gotta be real aware of just how good your jumps are. That's a bad cycle on me. I think I can make the bird there, but I'm just kind of silly, so I don't. You can go the ram, but odds are you'll just get hit by the ram. And I just lost a bunch of time doing the bird jump there, so... You can jump on top of the bird there. If you run up the branch and jump between the rock and the wing, you can get on the bird. I'm just a little bit silly and I missed my window, but it's okay. It's alright, it happens. This is part of speedrunning. You're not going to get all the tricks. This is just the unfortunate reality. That's why speedrunning's so addictive. I've yet to get a perfect run of this game, despite how many times I've done. This game's really hard when it comes to, like, parkour execution, because it's such a long game, you know? When you're doing, like, the full run, not segmented, it's pretty hard. Once you get to, like, Lonesome Manor, especially the second half, the end of the game with the Dark Beauty projectors, ooh, that'll fuck you up when you're on pressure, for sure. Now these guys are probably the easiest motherfuckers in the entire game. Just kind of knock them down there. Go over here. These guys open the gate for us, but then they stupidly charge out there, not knowing that I'm already here. And we can just leave. We don't even have to fight them. We can just fuck off. Right, this part of the game can be your first part of Guardian management, if you forget about it. Because you gotta paint in so much of this. You will build a lot of paint meter. If you're not careful, you might already have some. That's why it's important to do that first section of Mickeyjunk without painting too much in. Because you want your Guardians to do not this. I want to Guardian the pump. Okay, the game does not want me to Guardian the pump. That's fine. The Spladoosh is simply in the way. It happens. We're gonna run right by him, because we don't care. That's a good cycle, boys. There you go. Good shit. Up, 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 up. I did a silly. I did a silly. It's okay. He'll go back to sleep. And we just jump across these because we don't want to deal with those little guys down there. Ooh. And depending on how this goes, you may or may not get good cycle RNG here. Okay. And this entirely depends on whether or not the blocks want to spit out at you. Which, that's not a bad cycle, all things considered. We come over here to this, and normally you have to type in the passcode on the phone, but we have the gremlin here, so he's going to go down there and do it for us. The code is 512, for those that haven't played the game. It's 512, remember that. Very important code. Yeah, now we can just jump across these instead of having to parkour on the blocks. Much faster. It's just faster. There's a pin around that corridor there, if you're doing 100%. We are not, so we're going to ignore it, and just charge right out of here. Here's a section where we're actually going to go back and get a couple of thinner kills here, because we need our Guardians to be tip-top. Here's a good time to remember that you can spin while holding an ability and sling it in a circle, which is a very useful ability, and I don't know why it wasn't in the original game. There we go. We're also going to do that. Reduce it as much as possible. You don't have to do that if you're on good paint pace, but I didn't want to try to do all that fancy parkour earlier, so we didn't do that. We are almost out of here, so this might actually get to be its own video. Cool. Awesome. I want to try to get these to at least 20 minutes a piece, but some videos will be much longer than that, like Dark Beauty. Oh, okay, bad barrel cycle there. That's on me. No, we're not doing that. Nope. Just gonna come up here, jump on the bird, go up here, do a little dash, another dash jump, up here. Boom. There's another film reel up there in that upper section there. There's also a film reel on that ice slide there that I started to go up. Big yawns from me. I'm tired, chat. Can you tell? Chat? Chat. I always say chat like I'm live. I should do streams. I would love to do streaming. Once I get like a proper setup for this shit, I will be doing streams. Because my style of creation and just constantly yapping is a lot better suited to content creation, to streaming, for sure. I feel like it would be a whole hell of a lot better at streaming. because I could jump on a call with my friends and just kind of goof the fuck off with this shit. But, here's Jack Trade. I love his name, it's really funny to me. But, this combat section isn't very hard. What we're going to do is we're just going to stand here and just kind of annoy them all until they come over here. And once they all come over here, we are going to blow that guy up. Yeah. Boom. And that guy got away, but it's okay. We're just going to smack him in there. And we sling another Guardian. Oh, no. We'll keep a Guardian. Actually, we want to stay on pace there. Oh, they survived. Oh, shit. Okay, he missed a couple. You're in a corner over here. That's unfortunate. Whack. Whack. Ooh. Okay, that's close to death right there. That's a little scary, huh? Alright, there we go. That's a rare occurrence right there. He just happened to get stuck. Probably one of the seers that bashed him into the wall there. That can happen sometimes. That's a rare occurrence. Alright. And we are basically done. Ooh. Lag spikes. Yeah, for some reason this particular staircase causes lag spike every time. Not sure why, but it do. It do. Could also have something to do with the fact that my Switch storage is quite full. But we're going to ignore that. Mandatory paint. Can we thin it back out? Maybe. It's very important that you leave this carpet painted. In fact, I recommend painting a little bit in there, because later on in the run, you may have to come back here right before the Shadow Blot fight, and you may be missing Guardians. And if you've got enough thinner in your meter, you can convert your paint Guardians back into thinner Guardians right there, if you need to. It really doesn't matter which one you use, though, as long as you defeat the Shadow Blot instantly. The thinner cutscene is a lot shorter for the Shadow Blot, though. So you want the thinner scene there. But, aside from that, doesn't really matter. Anyway, we have Trolley Troubles here. Trolley Troubles is definitely the easiest of these. You just kind of leave the trolley as we did previously. We're just going to kind of leave the trolley there. We don't need it. Trolley Troubles has nothing to do with the actual trolley. We're just going to run off, carry on, and just kind of leave. If you can get the dialogue to trigger before you touch the ground, you won't take damage. Fun fact. Yep, cutscenes and dialogue will save you from fall damage. It's why you can use that in the first Dark Beauty section when you're opening the gate to get into Dark Beauty proper. Yeah. When you're going into, like, the puzzle section. The part with Calvin. That first section where you have to... where you... I wish I could speak English. I wish I could speak fluid English. Anyway, the first section of Dark Beauty, where you're first introduced to the Seers and the giant catapult and stuff. Once you get the second gear turned, you can just kind of jump off the platform before the cutscene starts, and you'll respawn on the ground when the cutscene ends. You can just get right to the door. It just saves a little bit of time. Just those small little time saves, you know. It's the small things, you know. Anyway. I could also do a couple of these for Ghost Runners. I've gotten pretty good times on the first couple levels of Ghost Runner. I considered doing a full game of that, but I discovered that Ghost Runner is quite difficult. Ghost Runner is definitely very execution heavy. It requires you to absolutely know what you're doing. So that's a little rough sometimes, but let me know if you guys want to see that. If you made it this far, I do love Ghost Runner. I might do that. I put up a poll about that a while ago before I started doing the Inscription videos, and no one answered me, so I just chose Inscription. And that was a bad choice. Obviously. But it's not about that, you know. But anyway, we're almost done here. This is the final projector here, and we'll be done. So this has been a good one. This has been pretty quick. Mickeyjunk is not that bad. Mickeyjunk is pretty quick. Your biggest checkpoint in skill past this is definitely Tomorrow City, and then Tortuga, particularly the jungle. And then probably the pipe organ, actually, because you're not gonna fix the pipe organ. You're just gonna parkour while he's kind of annoyed and not fully pissed. So as a result, you may suffer some damages by just kind of falling off of the pipe organ over and over. It's kind of a problem exclusive to that particular section of the game. Well, that, and I guess the towers in Dark Beauty, they also have that problem. There we go. We're done. That's it. We're gonna go back to Oswald's little hideout here. We're gonna go talk to him. We're gonna go back to Mean Street. We'll be done. That'll be it. Yep, like I said, very simple, very short. Yeah, this game is not hard. It's really not. Just in like a semi speedrunning sense, you want to just do things as quickly as possible. This game does not have a lot of RNG. It is majority skill. So if you're particularly good at parkour and I guess resource management with the Guardians and watch sketches, actually. Watch sketches are probably the most important sketch. TV sketches aren't very useful, and neither are the anvils. Well, TV sketches are more useful than anvils, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're done here. We're done. That's it. We're done. That's it. That's the section. Time. We're done. That's it. Finished. Thank you guys for checking out the second part of this. I'll do another part in a couple weeks, maybe, if I do not have content prepared already. I don't know. Maybe I will. Probably not, because I haven't even decided what I'm going to do yet. I haven't even started yet. I know, I'm a bad content creator, huh? But, alright. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for checking in. And, yeah. Fucking peace out, I guess. We're done here. Woo woo. Also, subscribe. Do it. Do it now. You will find me in your closet at 5 a.m.